Daily stock market update on the 23rd of February, 2 hours into US market open. The markets are sharply lower, the uncertainty over Trump, but isn't that short-term negative vibrations, or is there something more longer term in all of this, which you might think there is? Well, actually, the data doesn't seem to support it at the moment. Let's have a look at this in a lot more detail. Trump's announced a 15% global tariff. Will it stick? Can it hold? Well, the EU and other negotiating parties are not so sure, so they're holding off on trade agreements. The bigger problem is uncertainty tends to lead to lower economic growth because people just hold off on buying things until they know how much things will cost. At the moment, the fundamental problem is we just don't even know the cost in the near term, let alone medium to longer term. So the Dow's off some 800 points. The S&P and NASDAQ are trading low. Does this represent a longer term problem? Well, before I answer that, let's turn to the UK and Europe. The FTSE erased early losses because the idea is it's diversification. It's not as correlated to the US markets and US growth and Trump. Therefore, Europe, the UK, lacking correlation, give diversification. Obvious thing to say. Unusual in that that isn't how it normally works. But because they're not tech rich, these economies and their stock markets, they're richer in gold mining companies, and gold has gone up 10,000 in 12 months. Looks likely at the moment. It's currently at 5,100. So the advantage you've got is, as I say, diversification benefits, which is a perfectly valid reason to have a little bit of holding, whether it's in gold at 5% of your portfolio or in the FTSE 100 index tracker at 5% of your portfolio, and so on, as part of a portfolio of, say, 20 to 40 stocks. What about the Asian markets? When we look at the data over here, it's pretty mixed, and you'd think they'd be more impacted because they're smaller economies on the whole. And they're also waiting and seeing. So it looks like short-term volatility. When we look at the S&P 500, yes, it's been losing momentum. Let's be absolutely clear about this. And before it can fall like it did in 2022, it needs to first lose momentum. But just because it's lost momentum doesn't mean it's going to fall like 2022. In other words, the falls we're seeing at the moment are small. They're a necessary precursor to more significant falls, but they're not guaranteed to lead to subsequent falls. So in other words, no crystal ball, no reason to panic at the moment. Looks like a noise for now. Okay, yes, there is rotation. If we go back into what's happening, rotation out of tech into more defensive and value sectors and regions, such as I said, the UK, more into gold, more into industrials, more into non-tech. What about the journalists are writing about? Well, there's an interesting story. Are the Mag 7 over? In other words, they're the reason the market's hit all-time highs. Is it time to move out of them? Well, if they were the only thing you were ever in, it was a bloody good reason to be out of them for a very long time in any event. Okay, 2023, NVIDIA was up 238%. 2024 is up 171%. 2025, Google was up 65% of the Mag 7. It was the biggest mover, but so far this year, your biggest mover to the upside in the Mag 7 is NVIDIA at 1.3%, and your worst performer is Microsoft, minus 17%. Those in and of themselves are not reasons to buy or sell, because with investing, you've got to look at it and what's the hypothesis? Is it that last year's biggest winner should be this year's? And is that borne out by the facts? No, it's not. So if you happen, as I do, to have Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, NVIDIA in your Mag 7, I don't have Tesla, which is the seventh one of those, then you're not worried because you've only got a small percentage of your overall portfolio, and presumably you wanted them because you wanted them as an investment for the longer term, at least for 12 months. So nothing to worry about because you're not trading anyway. So it limits that worry about what you should be focused on. What else is there out there that's happening on what's being picked up? Well, hedge funds are betting big on industrials. Here are their favorite picks. That's a headline out of CNBC. And then they go into companies such as T1 Energy, Carrier Global, ITT, Bloom Energy, Everest. Well, that's not a reason to just dive into those. They drop in names like Goldman Sachs, also found industrials a place to go for safety or lack of correlation. But again, the hypothesis is, are the hedge funds who are buying these an increase in hedge fund ownership leading to greater price performance to the upside over, say, a 12-month period. Is that what happens? And certainly the sector is up year to date 14.2%. So in the near term, it can. That's momentum. But what about over the longer term? And in actual fact, there isn't a direct correlation, certainly not one sufficient that you would say, right, if there's an increase in hedge fund investment in the first 7 weeks of the year, then for the rest of the year, those new stocks in which they've invested the most are the ones which are going to outperform. Sadly, it doesn't work out as simply as that. So that's not a reason to just go into industrials, though the industrials are likely to be in a portfolio of 20 to 40 stocks by its very nature, unless you're running an incredibly ridiculously concentrated all AI or all tech portfolio. Okay, what else is moving the markets in terms of news flow? Well, you've got Novo Nordisk is down 16%. If it's only 5% of your portfolio, you barely care. That's why you have portfolios and not individual stocks. PayPal's up 6%. SanDisk is up 5%. Corning up 5%. KKR is down nearly 10%. AppLovin is down nearly 10%. If you're chasing momentum, these things will worry you. If you're not, and you're holding these for a longer period of time, you're calm about it. China, Iran, tariffs, we don't know what's going on. None of those world leaders are giving us the heads up ahead of time. That being the case, the most important thing to do at the moment is ensure that you continue holding on to what are presumably quality companies with strong growth, good dividend yields, high sortinos, in those high average returns, low downside volatility over a prolonged period of time, and a history of delivering those. If you've got all of those, you've got nothing to worry about. If instead you're gambling on headlines and volatility and momentum, then indeed you should be worried right now, because there is a lot of negative momentum, a lot of negative headlines, and a lot of negative volatility. But hopefully you're not in that camp. Do me a favor, have a look at alpeshpatel.com. It helps boost our viewership when you click on those links, when you save this video, when you comment on this video, when you repost this video. That gives a lot more. The algorithms work by giving more points for certain activities. So saving is right up there. Reposting is an even higher point basis. Comment, slightly lower points, but still watching to the end. If you're watching to this, that counts as some of the highest points as well. So if you do all of those things, it goes to more people. If it goes to more people, we do more of these for free. Thank you all very much. I hope that was helpful.